Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to Conway, Texas. Never heard of Conway, Texas? Well, don't worry, you're not alone. Not many people have. Even the Bug Ranch here, the little sister or little brother, however you look at it, of the Cadillac Ranch, could not keep Conway on the map. Real Conway is back there by that grain silo on old historic Route 66, but even an interstate exit over here did nothing to keep the businesses of Conway afloat. And now it's a place for people like me to come and use up their leftover spray paint, leftover from Cadillac Ranch. Believe it or not, I actually remember when this place was open. It wasn't that long ago that Bug Ranch was even put here. Only 15 years ago, I was walking around an antique store in here that was open. Now there's nothing going on, so I guess as peaceful a place as Conway, Texas is, we should probably be moving along. Look at that, perfectly flat out there. Today is our last day of Texas. You can see here is the town of Conway proper. Not much is left, but I did notice this old school gas station. You gotta admit, that's pretty cool. Route 66 should really be called the Road of Ghosts. Sure are a lot of ghost towns out here. You know, driving across the Texas Panhandle, there's a lot of flatness. There's not much to see until there is. Would you look at the size of that cross? Oh my God. Ooh, gosh. Ooh, that was a close one. We gotta watch our language around here. They got a lot of rules. Okay, this technically isn't on Route 66, but come on! It's a 190-foot cross! At one time, this was the tallest cross in the United States. 19 stories of godly roadside attraction. Yes, sir, Groom, Texas here had the biggest cross in the United States until the pesky residents of Effingham, Illinois, who were inspired by this cross here, decided to build their own cross 8 feet taller. I mean, I guess technically there's nothing in here about being a copycat. Anyway, real Route 66 is a couple of blocks that way. But how can I resist America's second largest cross? I respect all faiths and all people of faith. And I also love a good roadside attraction. And this one's extra good. See, there's St. Michael smiting the devil right there.
Be smited!
Oh my goodness, you're smiting me.
Yes, consider yourself smitten.
Oh. In addition to the giant cross and that statue over there, they have 14 Stations of the Cross statues around the base. And of course, what roadside attraction would be complete without a gift shop? Ooh, I don't remember the radical fountain being in the middle. Look at the color of that water. Weird. Whether the message is your cup of tea or not, they do have a counseling center here, a place where people will pray for you. They have a Divine Mercy Theater, which I'm assuming shows some sort of film. The huge gift shop, which, side note, smells really good. The statue of the Last Supper. Hey, James. Why is Judas holding so much money? He always was a total weirdo. I don't trust you, Judas. And last but not least, of course, the replica Calvary, which comes complete with replica empty tomb. I've been here for about an hour, and I gotta say, the weirdest part about this place is that all the visitors come in here and take their picture laying down in the empty tomb. The lady in the gift shop even asked me, y'all take your picture on the empty tomb? I mean, I love fun pics, but something about this. Yeah, that feels wrong. That feels wrong. Never mind. Cancel. Love it or hate it, you got to admit, this place is a giant step out of the ordinary. Okay, and now back to Route 66. Welcome to Groom, Texas, population 587, an original Route 66 town. Ooh, check out that old motel from Groom's heyday. As you can see, it's not a very big town. The Justice of the Peace office is in that old gas station there. A couple of giant grain elevators here. A few closed businesses, not too much to see. Or so you think at first until you turn down this little main street here that still has an operational small town grocery store, a very old school, still operational 1930s, maybe 40s gas station. I have seen a lot of abandoned versions of that on the highway, but very few that are still in service. There's even the Groom News, their own little newspaper. Look at this cute little gazebo, this little town park in the middle of Main Street. I don't know what the actual name of the street is. I actually think it might be Broadway. But this is so cool, and it just goes to show you that Main Street, USA isn't dead everywhere. But this is so cool, and it just goes to show you Main Street, USA is not dead everywhere. Isn't that right, Mr. Ed?
My name is Clarence. Tourist.
Whoa, roadblock up ahead. Oh, I see why the road was blocked now. There was a helicopter parked right on old Route 66. Looks like a medical helicopter. Hopefully whoever's inside is okay and getting the care that they need. Wow, look at that. Groom is so far out there, there's no hospital here. If you have an emergency, that's how you have to go. How about that? I just watched a helicopter take off on Route 66. That is definitely not something you see every day. A helicopter traffic jam. And now we come to one of the most popular fun pics of Route 66. It's the American equivalent of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Ralph Britton's Leaning Water Tower of here. It was once just your regular run-of-the-mill water tower out here until a guy by the name of Ralph Britton purchased it, stuck it over here at an angle to promote his truck stop and gift shop and tourist Route 66-ness thing. Actually, it looks like it's been repaired quite recently, but for decades that thing was closed because of a fire inside. So for the longest time, this leaning tower has really promoted nothing. It's just been left here for people like you and me to take pictures of, gawk at, and just admire because, hey, it's cool. I love Texas. Now a couple of dozen miles of interstate across the Texas plains. And then one of the coolest rest areas in the history of interstate rest areas. Dude, Texas goes all out. This one is basically a Route 66 museum. And if you read all these plaques, you'll get the whole history of the highway. What the heck? Wait till you see the inside. Whoa. Check this out. Not only does it look like an old 1930s diner, but there's also interactive video displays and history, vintage advertising everywhere, video games for the kids, vending machines, free Wi-Fi, even a tornado shelter with some very graphic reminders of the dangers of the region. You can shelter from a tornado in here and be terrified of tornadoes in here. Whoa. The men's restroom even has a rad Route 66 mural on the wall. I didn't check the women's restroom though. I'm not that guy. Look at this, I just learned something new from the ground here. In the 1920s, Route 66 used to go right across some people's cattle ranches. You actually had to stop and open the different gates to go through and close them behind you. Wow, thank you, rest area. I just learned something new. Okay, now just a little further down old Route 66 here, and we should come to the very quiet and very small town of Allen Reed, Texas. Look at this here, standing at the crossroads right now of all these various highways and farm roads, and there is not a soul to be seen. Just a few birds chirping, a dog barking in the distance, and that's it. But check this out right here on the corner of Main Street and 3rd Avenue. This is the kind of thing you don't see unless you come off the interstate. Look at this, the 66 Super Service Station. Boy, that's a tongue twister. Look at the old gas pump, the old oil pump still here. Built by Bradley Kaiser in 1930, then in downtown Allen Reed. It's not so downtown anymore. Just think of how many people stopped here to use that restroom. You know, Route 66 wasn't paved completely between Chicago and LA until 1937, which means if this place was here in 1930, just picture all the dusty old Model Ts and other old-timey cars that would have come down that road into this station, and just imagine the stories that they could have told whoever was working here. How about that? The original old school tin roof is still here. I don't know who takes care of this 66 Super Service Station, but they honestly deserve a medal. Look at, no gift shop here. No one's selling trinkets or antiques. Somebody just keeps this up for the sheer love of it. Look at that tin roof, tin tiles. You would expect that to look like this. After all, this is what most old Route 66 buildings look like if there's no operational business inside. But clearly the few people that are left in Allen Reed, Texas are awesome. And they've preserved a slice of old Mother Road history for all of us. How about that? I really thought that when I pulled over here, somebody would come out and talk to me maybe, because there are a few cars around here and some lonely old houses with some overgrown plants out front. But nope, all's quiet in old downtown Allen Reed. Wow, look at this old strip of sidewalk. I wish this sidewalk could talk. I'd love to hear its stories. Here's another service station in town that hasn't been as well preserved. Although, hey, it's still standing, and that is something. Looks like there was an old cafe here at one time, and check that out. Is that a lift right there for cars? So, garage, cafe. It's so quiet in this town, I almost feel like I'm in church. I hesitate to leave. Allen Reed is one of the most beautiful towns I've ever seen, but we've got other things to see. Ah, yes, welcome to McLean, Texas. Once a bustling Route 66 town that was actually so busy that they had to split the highway eastbound on one side of town and westbound on the other. There are a lot of Route 66 ruins in McLean, but at the moment, I'm a lot more interested in something that isn't in ruins. Check this out. This is one of the most photographed things on Route 66, and for good reason. Look at how amazing this is. This is the first Phillips 66 station built in the state of Texas, and according to what I've read elsewhere, I believe it's actually the first Phillips 66 gas station built anywhere outside of Oklahoma. This place was built in 1928, so it's been here almost the entire time that Route 66 existed. As a matter of fact, as you may have already guessed, Phillips 66, the gas, was named after Route 66. The legend goes that they were testing out the gasoline in a car, and one of the guys turns to the other guy and says, "Hey, we're going 65, and the other guy goes, "Heck, we're going 66 on Route 66. I don't know why that's a better story than just saying that we named the gas after the route, but there you go. This is one of the old-timey cottage fashion Phillips 66 stations. That was the official name for this little piece of architecture here. But more often people refer to them as the doll houses, and you can see why. You know, old gas stations had a lot of charm, a lot more charm than the ones today. And think of it, a uniformed attendant would have come out and checked your oil, maybe washed your windows, and pumped your gas for you. This particular station was restored in 1992, and it's owned by the Texas Route 66 Association. And believe it or not, it's not the only radical thing to see in McLean. Over here on the far opposite side of town from the Phillips 66 station is one of the coolest museums on the Mother Road. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to the Devil's Rope Museum. The first time I came here several years ago, I was like, what the heck is the Devil's Rope? As soon as I pulled into the parking lot, I knew. This place is a Route 66 roadside legend and the largest barbed wire museum in the world. This place is so big, I don't even know where to start. It's really several museums in one. Oh my gosh, we don't want to end up like this guy. We better be careful in this museum. First up, how about this? It's a whole huge Dust Bowl display. Look at that. Can you imagine a cloud of dust like that coming for you? One of the quotes here says, "We thought it was the end of the world, and you can see why." People's whole farms blew away and ended up as sand dunes in other places. What happened was a combination of an epic drought and that the government had started paying a lot of farmers to not use their land to try to help prices during the Great Depression. This meant that there were no crops holding the dirt down, and there was no rainfall keeping the dirt down. So, when the big winds came, it all just blew away. Thousands of tenant farmers had to find new homes and new opportunities, so a lot of them packed everything they owned into cars and headed out on Route 66 towards California. Like we learned before, more than 80% of them were just turned right back around and had to go home. But a lucky few made it, or joined the CCC, or found other WPA work. My grandpa was in the CCC. Ever heard of it? Look it up. And a very, very lucky few made it all the way to California. Allen Reed didn't used to be so quiet. It used to be full of rattlesnakes. Look at that. It's the old Regal Reptile Ranch, now closed. But this museum still has its most famous, most regal reptile. Dang, that's one ugly snake. This would 100% have got me to pull over. Definitely. There's even some remnants of their giant billboard. Rattlesnakes can get anyone to pull over. There's just something sexy about snakes. Wow, check out this display about all those Small towns were passing along Route 66. Holy cow, this museum is great. Oh, how you doing there, sailor? Need a ride? Where you headed?
I'm headed out to L.A.
Darn, sorry, I'm going the other way. Whoa, so that's how they make cow pie. Why is that in the museum? Wow, check out all these old great signs from the town. And even better, tons and tons of old photographs. The great thing about museums like this is that everything is real and everything is local. This is all stuff you're not going to see anywhere else. It's all one of a kind. Oh, look at that. There's the Regal Reptile Ranch in model form. Oh, finally, I've been waiting to get a bite to eat. Howdy, ma'am. I'll just have a gluten-free cheeseburger, please. I like the look of that, waitress. I'm not so sure I like the look of that cook, though. Starting to doubt that burger's gonna be gluten-free. You know what, guys? Never mind. Thanks, but no thanks. I got some lunch meat in the car.
There goes another one, Jeffrey.
What's gluten?
The Route 66 display is fun, but let's not forget why we're here.
We've come to see the Devil's Rope.
And there sure is a lot of it. You would not believe how many kinds of barbed wire exist. In 1874, this guy, Joseph F. Glidden, got his first patent for what became the wire that tamed the West. Barbed wire. You never think of barbed wire having an inventor or being so important. But the western United States is huge, and it was covered by buffalo and cowboys and Indians wandering all over the place. How are you supposed to settle down and start a farm if buffalo and deer and most especially cows kept coming into your cabbage patch? Fences were too expensive and complicated to put around hundreds and hundreds of miles of ranch land. So old Glidden came up with the solution. Barbed wire fencing. Keep your corn in and your cows out. Or keep your cows in and keep your buffalo out.
And that wire here is how they tame the old West.
Now, to the farmers and to the ranchers that were trying to secure their land, barbed wire was a godsend. But to the old school cowboys that were used to having those big long cattle drives across the West, and to the poor indigenous Americans who were used to traveling wherever they wanted, this stuff was the devil's rope. You don't even think about it today. You never even give it a second thought. But there are millions of miles of barbed wire all over this country, and this museum shows all kinds of equipment and machinery used for making the barbed wire, laying out the barbed wire, carrying the barbed wire, tightening the barbed wire. Until I came here, I had no idea there was so much to barbed wire. It's weird to think of a time where barbed wire was a new and exciting invention. It's also weird to think of how many different types of barbed wire there were. And each type had an inventor and a manufacturer and salesmen and different purposes and its different fanboys and boosters. Perhaps most horribly, of course, once World War I started, barbed wire was still relatively new, and someone had the genius idea and horrible idea of stretching it all across the no man's land area between the trenches. Some of these guys made a lot of money off barbed wire manufacturing for World War I. Whoa, war-ish. After barbed wire came along, the Wild West was tamed. Basically, in one generation, it went from wild plains full of Native Americans and buffalo to covered wagons to railroads. And with the railroads, telegraph poles, settlers, barbed wire, farms, towns, electricity, automobiles. You get the idea. The land was tamed. The craziest part about all of this stuff, other than the fact that I had no idea about any of this stuff, is that apparently people from all over the world collect barbed wire. Seriously, people from all over the world come here to see these rare wires they hope one day to acquire. Barbed wire collecting is a thing. Look at the sheer amount of stuff in this museum.
Turns out the Devil's Rope is a deep subject.
It's a giant warehouse full of barbed wire. Wow, I'm starting to get the point. Two weird things, just really quick. Number one, that so much barbed wire was being put up across the West. People were coming into contact with it so often that they had to invent wire-cut medicines. Look at that, not just one or two. Dozens. That right there is so weird. And it wasn't just for humans. Most of it was for horses and other animals. Not that silver pine healing oil in the corner, though. That one is for human use. That is pretty bizarre. Weird thing number two, though. Gift shop.
Why?
That's why. I've never seen souvenirs like this for sale before.
Oh, make sure you have all your shots.
Here, kids, let's get a fun souvenir.
The weirdest part about this, though, is that now I want it. I want all of the barbed wire.
If the fact that a weirdly specific barbed wire museum exists isn't weird enough for you, how about this? The building that the Devil's Rope Museum is inside of now used to be a bra factory. The very lovely white-haired woman inside of the Devil's Rope Museum told me that her first job was here on a sewing machine, 93 cents an hour, making brassieres. She says now she's here right back at the same old building for her last job.
Weird.
It's fitting that that old Phillips 66 station is here in the town of McLean, because it feels like on every single corner is yet another old historic gas station. Check out Main Street. This is amazing. Look at all the old brick streets, and of course, every third blink is slower. McLean was founded in 1902 on land donated by an English rancher named Alfred Roe. He sadly perished on the Titanic in 1912. He was just trying to get back to the United States. Who knows, maybe he was coming back to McLean. Now that's a sad story. Personally, I find the story of the old bra factory a little more uplifting. I love Disneyland, but I gotta tell you guys, I really enjoy the real Main Street USA. All that's missing is the music, a couple of popcorn stands, maybe the electrical parade. There's actually a second museum here in McLean, but I think I'm gonna save this one for the future. After all, I gotta come back this way. Gotta leave something for next time.
For now, it's time to barrel on down the highway towards our last stop in Texas.
Because there's something I need to kiss. Oh, yes! It's the Blarney Stone! Which can only mean one thing. We're back in Shamrock, Texas. Time to kiss the Blarney Stone. Mwah. Ugh. Tastes like leprechaun spit. Kissing the Blarney Stone for good luck is an ancient Irish myth. Irish folklore says you'll never be at a loss for words if you kiss that thing, and I don't know that I needed to kiss it for that, because you know me, I can never shut up. Oh, I love Shamrock, Texas. And so does my friend St. Patrick. He's a lot shorter than I thought he'd be in person. There's a lot of stuff to see in Shamrock, yes, mostly leprechaun related. But my favorite thing of all of the things is this. The world famous Conoco Tower of Shamrock, Texas. Also, and perhaps better known as the U-Drop Inn. This beautifully restored 1936 former gas station garage and cafe is one of the finest examples of what a roadside restoration can give you. I don't care how many times I've been here, I never, ever, ever get sick of seeing this lady.
Whoa, look at this. This was not here the last time I was in here. Since then, they've got some new information, and they found out that Elvis Presley ate here
and sat right in this booth.
Kids in town remember being held up to the windows to see the king.
Oh, so Elvis touched this with his butt. Ugh.
I made sure to slide all the way around the booth, so no matter what,
my butt was where his butt was. Weird.
How great is this place?
Hey, this is new since the last time I was here too. The auto laundry door is open. I'm assuming an auto laundry must have been a car wash. Sounds a lot classier than saying car wash. Welcome to the auto laundry, where you can clean your epic old Studebaker. I wonder if J.M. Tyndall, the original owner of this place, or local architect J.C. Berry, realized that this place would be dazzling travelers from 1936 till now. I don't know if you guys know this, but 1936, that's a long time ago. This place was also the real-life inspiration for Ramon's auto body in the Disney Pixar movie Cars, and of course in Cars Land at Disney California Adventure. There's this really nice woman that works here, Teresa. She remembers me every time I come in. It's one of the many things I love about Route 66. It's more than 2,000 miles long, but it feels so homey. As a matter of fact, those two people right there, they live near me. They're coming down Route 66 in the opposite direction. We just took a fun pic together. New friends. Doing some friendship things. Oh, being in Shamrock makes me really happy. Apparently, it makes everyone happy. Even the ATM is happy. I think the only thing that makes me happier than seeing this place in the daytime is seeing this place at night. What a transformation. There is just something about neon that you can't put into words. How could you not pull over once you've seen this? It's beautiful. It's glorious. Yes, this building is already pretty impressive to start with, even in the daytime. But at nighttime, it's pretty much unparalleled. I'm only sad that I can't purchase my gasoline here. What a beautiful sight. The you drop in the Conoco Tower, the 25th wonder of Route 66, the 7th wonder of Texas. Even the ATM across the street is getting in on the neon act. Even the ATMs in Las Vegas aren't this pretty. That is so amazing, and it used to be a common sight on old Route 66. I almost want to stay up all night just to stare at it. Too bad Ramon's not here to give old Jiminy a new paint job. Wow, look at that. The Conoco Tower. Shamrock, Texas. How in heaven's name neon went out of style, I will never know. All right, well, our Route 66 travels aren't quite over yet. There's more adventures to have tomorrow, so it's probably time that I start to get to bed. I feel like a mosquito. It's really hard to tear myself away from these lights. Whoa. We've seen and done a lot of things today, so I guess we've done our duty. Make sure to check the links down below in the description. For now, it's time to hotel and sleep well. One of them got me. Oh no. Oh no. Now I have to become this guy. His rumpy's about to get grumpy. Now that's a sad story. Personally, I find the story of the old bra factory a little more uplifting.